Good morning and welcome to VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner. And sorry, I've been away for a few days down in Cornwall, checking out the Cornish mining industry. No, I wasn't actually. I was playing golf and enjoying a nice long weekend with my wife. But there you go. Morning, Paul. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Thank you. And you had a good time down there?
Oh, the weather was glorious. It was fantastic. But there we go. Right, we may come back to Cornwall actually, because there was a little bit of news out of Strategic Minerals and their Redmoor tin tungsten mine. Well, actually, it was not about that. They do have a Redmoor tin tungsten mine, but they actually showed how production, etc., was going at Cobre, one of their other subsidiaries. Well, I've given the answer to that now. No need to discuss it. Anyway, let's move on actually to my favourite, the punter's favourite. Come on, let's get cracking with Iron Ridge Resources, that today have announced basically how their whole demerger is going to take place, creating Atlantic Lithium and Orica Resources Limited. So Atlantic Lithium obviously is the lithium side. Orica Resources Limited is obviously the gold side. What's your take on this, Paul? Other than obviously it's got to be exciting, isn't it?
Well, it should give you full value on both of these by separating up these entities. Orica Resources is being demerged, and it'll hold the Chad and Cote d'Ivoire African gold projects. Iron Ridge will put in $7 million of cash, and there will also be an equity raise for shareholders of an additional $7 million. Shareholders will also get a 1-for-8 share distribution in specie as part of the arrangement of demerging. And that'll leave Iron Ridge, or the new Atlantic Lithium, as a lithium story specifically in West Africa. So it should augment the value of both entities for both parties, I think.
I mean, this is obviously taking quite a lot of time, and I think people probably underestimate the work that's required to get a demerger through. And of course, there's a downside. That's the downside. It costs quite a lot of money and takes a hell of a lot of time and effort by the management team to get a demerger through. I actually think you've got two incredible companies now. The market this morning has not taken it well. It's actually marked it down nearly 8%, down to 17p, which is probably a bargain. But again, the gold company looks as though it's heading off down to Australia, which will, I guess, unnerve some UK investors, which maybe explains that. It's not completely, by the way. It's just that's where they're doing a lot more of the fundraise. And that's why they brought on, obviously, Canaccord Genuity. I think what we need to let these settle down. I actually think the Atlantic Lithium is a really interesting side of the company. Gold, they've got a fantastic gold asset there. But obviously there's quite a few gold companies around to choose from. But anyway, look, we like this one. Actually, at 17p, there's probably an absolute bargain to be had. But I can see why people are saying, well, let's see where it all ends up. That is the problem with demergers sometimes. Anyway, enough on that. I'm sure we may end up speaking a little bit more. Now, we also had news that I think is quite interesting this morning out of the AIM-quoted Namibian tin producer, Afritin, didn't we, Paul? What was that?
Yes, they gave an outline of what they are doing next as far as exploration in order to expand current resources at their U.S. tin mine. U.S. produces tin and tantalum from lithium. They are, in fact, lithium pegmatites, but they've always relied historically, as well as the current operations, on what was already known to be resources, whereas there's an awful lot more of outcropping mineralization that just hasn't been drilled and defined to be put into resource and reserve on the district. So that's what they're going to be after here. And they have plenty of property in order otherwise to test. So I would expect that they'll have some relatively easy success here that they'll be able to show shareholders.
Yeah, and tin obviously is flying at the moment. Now, also another one, Iconic Rare Earths. They recently presented at our Beijing conference. A very good presentation. I think they put in an application for an exploration license, have they, today?
Well, they actually got an application that they had put in previously approved, and that's exploration license 00257. It's adjacent to and northwest of their existing Makuutu mineral resource and its license. and they had found from recon sampling work and geologic mapping in the last several months that the mineralization extends off of the current license into this area, which also appears to have quite a good thick clay sequence. And it's the clay which contains the rare earths here in Uganda on this project. So it just means that they've gotten control now and will work up a formalized exploration program on it now.
James Bond license, like you said there, Paul.
What's that?
00257. That's some sort of James Bond license.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. What else would you like to mention this morning?
Well, we had weaker Q1 results out from South Africa PGM tails processor Sylvania Platinum. They did get a record performance from the Tweetfontein operation, producing about 15,700 ounces of PGMs in the quarter, but it couldn't make up for the issues with the temporary suspension of production at the Lesedi operation. So they had a 29% decrease in their gross PGM basket price over the period as well. So profits came well off, down about 45% or so to 8.6 million. They did manage to raise the cash balance, though, and because they have some development activity that they're completing, like a new tailings dam at Lesedi, that they should be able to get themselves back on track here in later quarters.
Okay, interesting. All right, I think we'll call it a day there, Paul, because we've got a pretty busy day today. So I need to crack on, you need to crack on, but we'll speak again tomorrow.
Okay, see you then.